Hey guys, welcome back to Jessin Reads Romance. I'm Jessin, and today is the start of the Paranormal Romance Readathon. I'm so excited to start this readathon. I've been thinking about it the whole month of October, and it's finally here. It is October 30th. Funnily enough, I've already filmed a clip of me giving a reading update for this Paranormal Romance Readathon, and then I realized that I never even did an introduction. So here I am, backtracking, doing my introduction, and then in the next clip you'll see the first one that I filmed. My TBR list is ambitious to say the least, so I'm just gonna list all the books that I plan on reading for the TBR, and hopefully I can get through every single one of them. I have high expectations for myself, so we'll see how that goes by the end of this vlog. So the first one is the group read, The Power of Hades. This is a Hades and Persephone romance. It'll count for the indie author slot, I do believe. Then Mating the Huntress by Talia Hibbert. I believe that this would also count for the indie author because she did publish this as an indie, but it also can count for Has an Animal and probably a Fated Mates prompt as well. Then we have Sacrifice by Katie Robert. This is an MMMF romance, so LGBTQ and also a vampire romance, and all three of those were my novellas for this TBR. Then we move on to the full-length novels that I have planned to read. The first one is One Grave at a Time by Janine Frost. I had already started the Night Huntress series earlier this year and I loved it, but I had 2 books left in the series that I want to finish because I just love Cat and Bones, and this was kind of like my incentive, like Paranormal Romance Readathon, you should finish the Night Huntress series. So I'm gonna do that, and that's gonna count for vampire romance, definitely. Then I have Raven Song. This is a last minute change because I decided to read Wolf Song ahead of time. I absolutely loved it, so I put the second one on instead. That will also count for an LGBTQ romance, Fated Mates romance as well, and Has an Animal since it is a werewolf paranormal romance. Then we have another Hades and Persephone romance, which will only count for the indie author, called Infernal. I just kind of saw this on KU and I was like, ooh, I love Hades and Persephone, so this isn't necessary for any of the prompts since a lot of other books fill them, but I just wanted to put it on there. It's intrigued me. I really like the cover. It looked really cool, so I'm a sucker and I like to make my life harder. Then we have another book that I put on here because it definitely was a series that I'm like, you need to finish this, girl. You need to finish this. Not earlier this year. Last year I started reading Immortals After Dark for the very first time. I did kind of a binge. I say a binge. I at least read a book a month, but still it felt like a binge, so I needed a break. So I stopped after the Ice Maiden one. Which one was that? And that one's like a combination. It was written with Janine Frost and Gina Showalter. Oh my god, I totally forgot what that one was called. Anyway, that was the last one that I read in the series, and McCreeve is the next one that I need to read, so I put it on this list. I think it's a werewolf romance. I've heard a lot of good things about McCree, so fingers crossed. Then for the angel romance prompt, I have Wicked Nights by Gina Showalter. I was finding it difficult to find some angel romances that I haven't already read. I know that there's a lot out there, but one that interests me, but this one looks good. I can't lie that the cover had a lot to do with me putting this on my list, and I hope it's really good. I've only ever read one Gina Showalter, and that was in a series that she was writing with other authors, so each author wrote a book in the series. Then I have Desire Unchained. This one is another series that I started for the podcast. Pleasure Unbound is the first book in the Demonica series. I read it for one of the exclusive book reviews that we did on the podcast on Patreon. I do want to continue with the series. It's like a demon, vampire, werewolf, all kind of things are happening in this kind of world, and I just want to get back into it and see what the second book has in store for me. And this will count for the published before 2010 prompt. So hopefully I can fill in my prompts. And I'm really excited to start. Fingers crossed, wish me luck that I read all these books in time. Hey guys, a little reading update. So I started the group read, The Power of Hades. I'm 60% in, and Hades actually has not been in this book very much. It's a very strange mix of contemporary and like Greek mythology, so like paranormally things. It's very weird because Persephone has no memory of who she once was, and all the gods keep saying like, oh, don't worry about why you lost your memory and why you're no longer a goddess, like something happened but don't worry about it. But as a reader, of course, we know we're gonna have to find that out sometime, and she's participating in these trials. Zeus had like basically kidnapped her and brought her back to the underworld to participate in the trials. to annoy Hades, and it just doesn't make a lot of sense. And yeah, the writing is okay, a little juvenile at times, so I don't know. I'm over halfway done. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm also listening to the audiobook for Desire Unchained by Larissa Ione, and I don't quite remember everything from Pleasure Unbound, but I listened to the prologue and things started to come back to me. I can't really remember Shade that much. I think he's the one that worked with Eidolon. I forget. Their names are weird. But anyway, I'm going to give y'all updates. I'm running the roads. My sister's on homecoming court today, so I picked up the younger sister, she's right here, listening to all this. And then we're going to do all kind of stuff for her today. So anyway, we'll see how much I can get done. Hopefully knock out the novellas today so that the longer books I can like binge tomorrow and Sunday, but we'll see. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Quick reading update. Today is actually Halloween, and we're gonna be doing a family get together for Halloween, so I got all dressed up. This is better. I have my Sanderson sisters shirt on. I'm really excited. I love Halloween and I love dressing up for Halloween. This year I'm not, but this will have to do. So I did finish The Power of Hades, and I think I'm gonna give it a 3. In the middle of reading it, I discovered, along with Malia from Romance Schmomance, who was also reading it at the same time, that this is a series, but it's not just that. The romance isn't complete at the end of book 1, but not a whole heck of a lot romantic happens in this first book. It's basically kind of like Persephone, who's a human and who has forgotten her entire past as a goddess, is competing to become Hades' wife, but she doesn't want to. Hades is like, go back to your life. Zeus is meddling with them, so it's just kind of like, there's not a really clear plot. We know something has happened. She's no longer a goddess, been living as a human for like at least 26 years. And I don't know how long ago it was that like her powers were taken away. There was like a prologue that was very vague. But anyway, not a lot of whole romance with Hades at all. It was very minimal, and I hate to say it, but I was pretty bored while reading it. It didn't even feel like the story was really getting started by the end of this first book. So I don't think I'm gonna continue with the series, even though I kind of want to know what it was that happened in the past. I don't want to know enough to continue with the series. Now, I did start Mating the Huntress by Talia Hibbert. The first chapter wasn't very interesting, but as I got into it, like that trademark humor by Talia Hibbert, that really fun-loving and quirky style of hers really started to shine through. So the romance is like a forbidden romance between a werewolf and a werewolf huntress, and she is actually part of a family of huntresses, and I think only the women hunt and the men are like, it's really cool because like the men of the family they're really soft boy, all up in their feels and emotions, and they're like the caregivers, while the women are like the huntresses. But the thing is, the heroine Chastity has been forbidden to hunt with her sister and her mother because there was this prophecy saying like her first werewolf kill would like break her heart. Luke is a werewolf and he knows that Chastity is Charity. Chastity knows that Chastity is his mate. Like one whiff and he was like, oh, my mate. And oh God, it's so good. So like she has like this attraction toward him that she doesn't want to have. She's like, no, he's evil, he's a monster. And it's very telling. There are some like misconceptions that she has about werewolves. Like she thinks that they're mindless beasts. And whenever she first starts seeing him coming around, because she works at like a coffee shop, she's like, oh no, he's like stalking me. He plans on killing me and like eating my brains. And he's just like, oh, she's so beautiful. I love her and the sound of her voice, and I'm not good at peopling. I can't even say 2 words without it sounding dumb. And it's just really funny. It's like a bit of miscommunication, but in a situational comedy gold type of way. So I'm really enjoying it. I'm halfway through. Hopefully I'm going to finish that one and then start Sacrifice by Katie Robert by tonight, and hopefully have that done so I can start a full-length one tomorrow. Sunday reading update. So I finished Mating the Huntress by Talia Hibbert, and I thought this was such a sweet and fun read. I really enjoyed the dynamic between the hero and the heroine. There was lots of enemies to lovers going on, and Luke, the hero, is like so enamored with the heroine even when she's trying to kill him because she thinks he's an evil werewolf, and it just creates lots of situational humor that I really enjoy. It's very on brand for Talia Hibbert, so definitely loved it. 4.5 stars. Yeah, 4.5 stars. I really do love it. This book does say it's the first in the Monsters and Mating series, and I don't know if she ever plans on writing more in the series, but I hope so because the heroine has some sisters and I want them to also have an HEA with some werewolves. So I just think it's really fun. I want to be back in this world. Talia Hibbert, please write more. I also was able to read Sacrifice by Katie Robert last night. It sort of went the way I thought it was going to go. It's just I don't mesh well with Katie Robert's writing. Sacrifice is an MMF vampire romance, and I really do enjoy a good taboo read and a novella and very smutty reads, but I do want to believe that the heroes and heroine actually are in love by the end of the novel. To me, that makes a romance. Like, I need to believe that they're actually in a loving relationship. You don't really know anything about anyone in this romance except for the heroine, who has been forced by her father to kind of be like the sacrifice to this bloodline vampire, basically to be his broodmare, because apparently they're kind of dying out. Now, she is half vampire and half human. Of the books that I've read by Katie Robert, this kind of like falls into the same category where I have a problem with the heroine and her relationship with the heroes. There are some dubious consent issues going on in this book, but I feel like the heroine, Mina, was written in a way that she's purposefully trying to goad the heroes and saying like she doesn't want it, but then secretly in her mind she's saying she does. So I don't love that because she knows she's doing it. She knows that she's telling them no, but inside her mind she's like, but that actually means yes, and I honestly don't love that. I don't know how to explain it because I've read taboo relationships where there's dubious consent that I actually really enjoyed the book, but I guess a lot of the problem is I just don't feel a connection between Mina and Malachi and Wolf and Rylan. There's just no connection, and no connection between them, the heroes, because this is supposed to be an MMMF, which means everybody is in a relationship with everybody else. Everybody is in a sexual relationship. I would say this is more of a reverse harem than it really is an MMMF. There's barely any M on M sex scenes in here, and you really don't feel like anyone is really in love with anyone. I was just like, I needed there to be some deeper emotional connection besides this like intense, passionate relationship. It's like it comes out of nowhere, and it's almost like involuntary the way that they're all attracted to each other. So to me, it feels like a superficial relationship, sexual and emotional wise. I was kind of bored while reading it. And writing a deep emotional connection in a novella can be done, and in an MMF romance. One of my favorite ones is The Glue by Kay Webster, and I think it's so well done. I definitely believe that at the end of The Glue that all three characters are in a very deep emotional relationship, and I believe it, and they have really hot MMF scenes, like all, yeah. Anyway, it just fell flat. I don't think I'm going to read Katie Roberts anymore. I just don't believe the romance in any of Katie Roberts' romances. It's very erotic, and that's great. I'm glad that they have a hot sexual relationship, but I don't believe that it's anything more than that. And I do want that in my erotic romances, in my erotica. I do want to feel like these characters have more than sex, even if sex is, 90% of what's in the book. I still want there to be an emotional connection, no matter what. I've already started One Grave at a Time, which is the last book that I left off in the Night Huntress series by Janine Frost. I'm really excited to be in this world again. The first chapter kind of reminded me where I left off, and I'm just like, Uncle Don, and I don't want to give out spoilers. It's going to be hard to talk about this book because it is in the middle of the series, but I will try. But Cat and Bones, they're one of my favorite couples in romance. I just love them. They're so fun. I should probably read the synopsis just to get myself back in the headspace of this world, because I kind of remember what happened right before, but I just kind of need my memory to be refreshed. I could just go read my reviews, because quick reviews really help me keep track of all that. So I'm gonna go read that before I continue on in this book. I'm really excited. I think I only have this book and the next one, and I'm done with the Night Huntress series, and I can move on to the Night Hunter series, Vlad series. I'm really excited about that one. And then Ian's series is the one that has the amazing covers that I'm so obsessed with, and I need them so bad. I'll update you guys whenever I have more to talk about. Hey guys, it is currently Monday, November 2nd, and I'm almost done with One Grave at a Time. I think that that's what the Cat and Bones book I'm reading. Yeah, one grave at a time. I'm almost done with it. Like, I'm in the very, very last part. Like, the climactic scene is, like, happening right now. So I'm going to finish that within, like, the next hour. And I had started the audio for Desire Unchained, but I decided to wait until, like, the week because it's harder for me to read during the week just with work and then school stuff. So I decided to wait until, today so I can listen while I'm working. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Desire Unchained, finishing one grave at a time. And then I think I'm debating on whether or not I should start Ravensong or McCreeve. I think I might do McCreeve just because I might save Ravensong for later on in the week, because I do plan on reading the rest in the Green Creek series, like, kind of right away. It's in my November TBR, and I want to finish that series, that Green Creek series, because Wolfsong was, like, one of my favorite books that I've read in 2020. Oh my god, it was amazing. I'm not trying to hype it up too much because I like everyone else. I know what it's like to hear about a hype book, and then you read it, and then it's, like, very disappointing, so I try not to, like, hype up books too much, but it's worth it. I love it. Anyway, so I think I'm going to save Ravensong until later on in the week. That leaves 3 left. Ravensong, McCreeve, Desire Unchained. I have that on audiobook. Wicked Nights by Gina Showalter, and one more, Infernal, which is a Hades and Persephone retelling. I really want to read that one, like, so bad. It doesn't really fit any of the prompts now that I'm, like, done with the prompts that it would have fit in, like, indie author and stuff. I don't need that. I want to read it because The Power of Hades was pretty disappointing, and, like, I really wanted a Hades and Persephone romance. I'm not going to continue on with the Power of Hades series, so I wasn't satisfied in that department, so I want to read Infernal, and I hope I get to it. But if not, I'm still going to read it in November because it just sounds good, and I hope it satisfies that need for my Hades and Persephone happily ever after. I just need it. Okay, that's it. I'll let you know if I finish anything today. I doubt I'll finish anything today besides one grave at a time, which I'm almost done, and it's amazing. I'm gonna give it like 4.5 stars. No, 5 stars. I don't know. It's so hard rating like later books in the series about the same couple, but it's so good. I just love this series. Cat and Bones are like amazing. An amazing couple to continue on with the series. I'll update you guys later. Bye. Hey guys, a little reading update. I did finish the Cat and Bones book that I was reading. I really did like it. I'm gonna give it a 4 star just because the plot wasn't as compelling as past plots in the series, but anytime I get to read about Cat and Bones is always a good time. Ian was there being his, slutty self. I cannot wait to get to his series. He is just a character. He's a trip. There was no Vlad in this book, which I was kind of sad, but hopefully I'll be starting his series soon, so I won't be sad for long. And I am currently 52% into the audiobook for Desire Unchained. I totally forgot what it was called. It's not as compelling as Pleasure Unbound. I do remember really liking Eidolon and Tala. I like their romance. I'm not as invested in Slade and Runa's romance, and there's a little bit of BDSM element, not like heavy or anything, but it's just kind of like, I feel like it's around that time that BDSM became like popular to mention in novels, and it's just kind of like, oh, our character is kind of into it, but not really. And I don't know, that just kind of bores me. There are some side characters who were in the first one. My memories of Pleasure Unbound started to come back to me, and there's this human side character from book 1 who wasn't really like a part of the like demon world, but he kind of like got drawn into it. He actually used to be like the enemy from book 1, and now he kind of hangs out with them. I'm interested in his story, his and Jem's. I can't remember what his name is. Kai? Okay, I think his name's Kynan. I am listening on 2x speed, so it's kind of like hard to distinguish certain names, especially side characters, because there are a lot of side characters, and I kind of wish that there weren't so many point of views, because there's the hero and the heroine's point of view, but then there's also multiple point of views from other characters, including the villain. I don't know if he's like villain, we'll see. But yeah, there's just a lot of point of views. I prefer to limit it to 2 or 3. Yeah, so I don't know how I'm gonna rate this one. I'm halfway through and I'm leaning towards a 3 star. Something amazing could happen toward the end that like really gets me excited. But yeah, I just kind of am, this was okay. It's okay so far. I don't hate it. It's just not holding my intention. I'm a little bored reading it, and I'm just like, okay, get together, be done, get together. There's like a curse and whatever that we still have to solve that mystery. Since I'm done with one grave at a time, I think I'm gonna start reading McCreeve and see if I can get a good chunk of that done this afternoon and tonight. After I finish the Desire Unchained audiobook, I might see if I can get an audiobook of another one on my list. That way I can listen to another one while I'm working at the end of this week. So hopefully I can get all of them knocked out. Like, I am determined to read all of these. Okay, I'll update you tomorrow whenever I have more to say. Good morning. It is Tuesday. It's election day and anxiety is a little high, but last night I started McCreeve, and guys, first of all, the prologue was a little bit disturbing and insanely heartbreaking. I've heard a lot of people really love this one, and I can see why. I'm more than halfway through at this point because I could not stop reading last night. Cressida Cole is such a compelling storyteller. It's insane, and I'm so glad that I finally jumped back into The Immortals After Dark. Just binging an author that has an extensive backlist and being in the same world for like a really long time, it's like such a different, it's almost like overload. Like, your sensations are overloaded with like the world and the characters. So I just needed a break, but I'm so glad that I'm back in because, oh my god, McCreeve. So Will is our hero and our heroine is named Chloe, and it's kind of like, I wouldn't call it an enemies to lovers because Chloe is human. She does have like a dormant Lorien side in her, which you find out very early on in the book. But the problem is she's a daughter of basically the commander-in-chief of Torture Island, which is like a section of this series. It happens on this island with a bunch of kidnapped Loriens being tortured, and it's insane and gruesome and terrible. So Will McCreeve was on Torture Island, and he wants revenge. His Like-Hay is like dormant, his instinct is dormant. He's just not the same. He's been through a lot of stuff, and he wants revenge. And his mate ends up by being Chloe, the daughter of the man he most despises. But the beautiful thing is, Chloe knows nothing about the lore, and he can't really blame her for anything. And oh my god, the first half of the book is so sweet. So sweet. Like, it was achingly sweet. The way that Chloe and Will were like getting to know each other, and I don't want to like spoil anything, but man, something does happen, and my heart just ached the whole time. I'm finally getting to a point, they're in Scotland right now, and they're kind of like getting better, and man, this book is so good. It's gonna be 5 stars. It's gonna be 5 stars unless something like stupid happens at the end, but I don't think so. I'm still listening to Desire Unchained. I'm still listening to Desire Unchained today while I work, and I'm gonna finish McCreeve and then probably start Wicked Nights by Gina Showalter, because I technically have a book, Sacrifice, that counts in the Angel category, but it feels like cheating because it was like barely an Angel. So I need that to tick off that box, that prompt. I need Wicked Nights for that one. And Raven Song, I kind of like wanted to end on Raven Song, even though I want to fit in Infernal. I don't know how I'm going to fit in Infernal. I might have to either get Wicked Nights on audio or Raven Song on audio. I'm going to have to get something on audio because I don't think I could finish all 3 of those by Friday. But I'm going to try. And I wanted to end on Raven Song because after the PNR Readathon is over, I wanted to start with the next one, Heart Song. I'm so excited to get back in the Green Creek series. I'm so excited. So, wish me luck today. Finishing McCreeve, finishing Desire Unchained, which I still find boring. I know that this vlog isn't going to come out until Saturday at the earliest, Monday at the latest, but I hope everybody's taking deep breaths today and doing some sort of something to, you know, allay their anxiety. And here's hoping for the best. Today I finished Desire Unchained, and I'm debating on my rating. I think I'm gonna give it like a 3.5 star because it was a good book. I still like the world. I still want to continue with the Demonica series. I think that Larissa Ione has created a very cool, interesting world. Of course, I really love the brothers. The Seminus demons are basically like horny demons. And they like can't help themselves, and they all like don't want to have mates or whatever because they want to like not be tied down to one woman, and they can't imagine just having sex with like one woman for the rest of their life. I just wasn't vibing with this couple. I did prefer the first book's pairing, Tala, and Eidolon. I did like them better. I am anticipating Wraith's book. I think that his will be interesting, hopefully, fingers crossed. And also there was just too many point of views. So probably a 3.5 star. I'll think about it at the end of this vlog. I'll double check my ratings. And then I finished McCreeve. Oh my god, it's so good. And I think maybe I have only 2 left in the series before I'm all caught up in Immortals After Dark. And I know it's been like a really long wait since the last time that she's published a book in this series. So I'm not in a rush. I do think that I'll finish it by the end of the year. All right, so according to my Kindle, I have not read Shadow's Claim, which I think is kind of like not officially a part of the series. I think it had to do with like this other species of Lorians that were introduced in the book before McCreeve. So I'm gonna have to go double check on that one, but I have not read Dark Sky, Sweet Ruin, and Wicked Abyss. What is Wicked Abyss about? I don't know if I'll finish this year then, if there's that many books left, but I will finish them sometime. Again, I'm not too worried about it. I'll finish when I finish. But I did start my next book on the TBR. I'm really excited about it. It's my angel romance, and it is Wicked Nights by Gina Showalter. I did get a used copy. It's like it's in okay condition. It's fine. But what I did find interesting, so here's the author's note at the beginning, which like honestly really intrigued me because I really haven't read too much like the synopsis in the back, but it says, "Dear reader, I've been intrigued by the stone cold angel Zacharyel since the first moment he stepped onto the pages of my Lords of the Underworld series in The Darkest Secret. I mean, really, an immortal warrior who finds it easier to slay an enemy than to smile at a friend. Yeah, I had to know his secrets. I also had to flip his entire world upside down, and oh, did I have fun doing it. He's been put in charge of the biggest, baddest beings ever created, an army of angels about to be kicked out of the heavens forever. He's met the first woman ever to kindle a fire in his blood, and he's in danger of losing his greatest treasure. And no, I'm not just talking about his virginity." So we have a virgin angel hero. I'm really excited about it. Warrior angel. So this is the first book in the Angels of the Dark series. And I love this cover. This cover's like really good. I don't know if it's like, this lighting's gonna do it justice, but I'm all about a virgin hero. So I just started, I'm only on chapter 1, and we'll see how much I get done this afternoon. Again, it's election night, so I don't know how in the game my head's gonna be while reading, but I'm crossing my fingers that I can get a lot done because I still do have 2 other books that I want to read. I'm not sure I'll be able to finish Wicked Nights, Infernal, and Ravensong for this readathon because I also have to read Love Bites by Cynthia St. Alban for the podcast, and I've never read it before. This is the book that I have not read yet, and it was Juliet's suggestion. She really loved it. She talks about this book all the time. So I just put it on the podcast, but I still have not read it yet, and I really need to because we record on Friday. So I don't know how that's going to affect the rest of my TBR because it looks like Infernal is a pretty good size book. It's nowhere near novella length. Ravensong's a pretty thick book. Oh, look. Oh, wait, you want to see Ollie's little... He's a cute boy. Oh, you're a cute boy. Oh, you're a cute boy. He's so precious. He's a little camera shy. He does not like looking directly into the camera. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna go because I need to get reading. Hey guys, it is currently Wednesday, and I did not get a lot of reading done last night, which is pretty understandable considering the circumstances, which is very hard to focus on reading, but I did get 30% into Wicked Nights. It's just not holding my attention, and I don't think it's just because of like there's so much like world events going on right now. I just think that 30% in, this is a spin-off from her Lords of the Underworld series, but it is the first book in a new series, so I feel like some more world building could have been done because our hero is an angel, but he's in charge of an angelic army, but I think it's only like a specific sector of the angelic army, and then the higher power is called the deity, but the deity only has control of a certain sector of the heavens, so it's like, I don't know. I don't know what it's considered. Who else has control of the heavens and vampires and phoenixes? Phoenixi? What is the plural form of phoenix? Phoenix? Are allowed into the heavenly realm, because just because you're angelic does not mean that you can't have sex. Even though our hero is a virgin, a lot of his comrades are not and very much enjoy sex. Another complaint I do have is that there's multiple POVs in this book. I would have preferred if it was just the hero and the heroine. So far we've had Thane's point of view, and I don't like it. I don't want to be in Thane's point of view at all. I am interested in the story, but the way that it's paced does not compel me to continue, especially not at this moment. I want to find out some things. There are some questions about the heroine Annabelle that I have, about her being like marked by a demon, and how that came to be, because Zacharel says you have to like willingly choose it, and she's like, I did no such thing. So that's a bit of a mystery. I don't know how it's working. I am gonna have to put it down regardless, because on Friday I'm recording for the podcast with Juliet, and we're reviewing Love Bites by Cynthia St. Alban. It used to be called Once Upon a Werewolf, and she retitled and redid the cover. So I need to read that, and I'm gonna start reading that right now and put aside Wicked Nights. And after I finish Love Bites, which hopefully I can do by tonight, I'm not gonna jump back into Wicked Nights, because technically I have a book that fills the angelic prompt. Sacrifice does include like an angelic character that was not mentioned in the blurb, but it does, so it fulfills it. I wasn't going to count it because it wasn't very well developed in the book, but a lot of things in that book weren't well developed. The romance for one, and it's still considered a romance, so I'm going to consider it for the angelic prompt, and I want to read Raven Song instead. Very interested in continuing with this series. I talk about it. It's on my November TBR, as is the rest of the series. So after Love Bites, I'm jumping into Raven Song, and maybe I'll finish Wicked Nights before it ends. I doubt it, but we'll see. Hey guys, it is November 5th, Thursday, and tomorrow is the end of the Paranormal Romance Readathon. And so far I have read 7 books for this readathon. 3 of them were novellas. One of them was not on my original TBR. Last night I was able to finish Love Bites by Cynthia St. Alban. I really loved it. It's very humorous, very easy read. It was a podcast book that I had to read so that we can record tomorrow, and that episode will be out on the 18th, November 18th. That's when the episode will be out. The heroine Hannah Laura, it's like spelled Hannalore, like Laura, but I think she said her name was pronounced Hannah Laura. And we're just gonna call her Hannah. She's down on her luck. She just got divorced and she's struggling for money. She has an art degree, an art history degree, and so she's kind of like lying on her resume to be able to work at this gallery. The owner of the gallery is Mark Abernathy, and he definitely needs some organizational help. I think it's really funny because he sounds like my dad, who he has like papers strewn all over his office. There's no rhyme or reason. It's like, how do you even know where things are? So Hannah gets the job. Cynthia St. Alban has a really humorous writing style, and I really enjoyed it. Hannah's character is pretty funny and quirky. She's a little bit out there, but I enjoyed that. Mark Abernathy is a little bit of a mystery. This is a werewolf romance, so Mark is secretly a werewolf, and Hannah has some clues throughout the novel of there's something going on with Mark. There's also this detective who thinks Mark is a murderer, and he's determined to pin these murders on him because there's these women who he was last seen with, and then all of a sudden they turn up dead with their throats ripped out. So Hannah's aware of this pretty immediately after she starts working for Mark, and so that's kind of a bit of a mystery. Hannah's like, I don't know, he doesn't seem like a murderer, but he could be. We'll see. And I'm glad that Hannah didn't immediately believe the detective and was like, oh no, he's dangerous. It's a very light book. Obviously it's serious because people are turning it murdered, but I enjoyed it. I'm glad that I read it. It wasn't originally on my TBR, but it is paranormal, so I'm sticking it on there as a read. So now that gives me 2 days to finish my TBR. I do have Wicked Nights left on my TBR, and I am on chapter 10. So I've read this much, have this much to go. I don't know if I'll finish it, but I really want to try because it still feels like cheating to put Sacrifice down for the angel romance, even though it technically would count. So I really do want to fill this prompt with this angel romance. It is getting better. It is getting better. It's really funny because the last clip I filmed is it's not explained who the deity is, and apparently he only, is in charge of a certain part of the heavens. Well, the deity is actually not the all-powerful God, and this angelic army that Zacharyl is in charge of is not the same kind of army as like, you know, the archangels would be, like Michael and Gabriel and all that. Like this is a completely separate area of the heavens. And the only reason why Zacharyl and all of his friends, his army, are called angels is because they're like winged creatures, but they're not like traditional angels. They do fight demons as well, and that's why they're also considered angels, but they're completely different sector. And I'm hoping to learn more about it. I'm getting more information. It is very interesting. There was a third POV that just popped up, the villain's POV, and that gave me a lot more information. So I'm excited to see where this goes. I really am. I'm enjoying it now. It was a little bit slow to start for me, but now I like it. Then I'm starting Ravensong today too. I'm gonna read a few more chapters of Wicked Nights, and then I want to start reading Ravensong because I'm dying to jump back into this, and I want to finish this for the Paranormal Romance Readathon. So I'm gonna switch back and forth, but I definitely want to get a chunk of this done today. We'll see how that goes. I am busy with like some school stuff today, so I don't know. I'm still optimistic. There's still hope that I can finish at least these two. I don't know about Infernal. I don't know. I don't think I could finish Infernal tomorrow because I feel like if I finish Wicked Nights tonight and I get like halfway done with Ravensong, it's possible I could finish Ravensong tomorrow and Infernal. It just depends on how fast I can read Infernal. I don't know if I want to though. I do plan on attending the live show on Friday. Jessica did put Infernal on her TBR list, so I don't know, I might see what Jessica thinks of Infernal first before trying to like hurry up and cram that in, because I do want to enjoy Ravensong. Like I don't want to rush this read. I want to enjoy it. But the way I read Wolfsong, I literally couldn't put it down. Like I was reading it and I could not put it down. I stayed up all night pretty much reading it, and I feel like Ravensong's going to be the same because Mark and Gordo are familiar faces. It's teased that they had a romance whenever they were younger and something happened to separate them, and then of course they're kind of reunited in a way in Wolfsong, but they're not together. They're just in each other's lives now. I'm just dying to read this so bad, and I already talked to Jessica. She has read Ravensong and she really loved it. And she wants to binge the rest of the series, so do I. So I don't know, if I end the Paranormal Romance Readathon on Ravensong, I'm jumping straight into Heartsong and Brother Song before I move on to my historical reads. I do plan on doing a historical romance reading vlog after this, just as like a palate cleanser before I read anything else that was on my November TBR, because I do have a lot of Grace Dravens on that TBR. So I think a historical will be a nice change of pace after these paranormal reads, but finishing Green Creek first. 100% have to finish these books. All right, guys, wish me luck. At least Wicked Nights and Ravensong will be finished by the end of this Paranormal Romance Readathon, and I will be satisfied. I will be satisfied. I'll update you later and see how much progress I have made. Hey guys, today is the final day of the Paranormal Romance Readathon, and I still have not finished Ravensong, but it's fine. I did finish Wicked Nights, and I am going to talk about what I thought about this book. This was the prompt for the Angel Romance, and I pushed through because this would fill the prompt and I felt like it was cheating to use sacrifice, so I did end up by pushing through. But honestly, I probably would have DNF'd because I was really bored. The writing style's okay, but I think it was the characters that I just wasn't connecting with. And there was also a scene that by that point I was just like, I just don't feel this relationship anymore. So for a little background, the heroine Annabelle has been in a mental institute because she is thought to kill her parents. She was the only person in that room that knew that there was a demon in the room, and that morning she had woken up and her eyes were burning. Like she was like, what is wrong with my eyes? And her dad was going to take her to the hospital. And then when they were in the garage, I believe, as they were about to leave, the demon popped up, killed her parents, and her brother was upstairs sleeping and didn't witness any of this. So she was blamed for her parents' murders, and she was thrown in a mental institute. She's been kept on drugs, and the staff at the mental institute, which have changed throughout the years, some of them abused her sexually. So she has some triggers, and she's been through a lot. Zacharyl is the hero, and he is an angel. This is kind of a part of like his last chance. Like he has some redeeming to do. He was like on the outs with the deity, which the deity is not God. It's someone who's in charge of these angels, these types of angels. He's also a virgin, and he is this like untouchable Iceman of a hero. He's very closed off. Even his angelic comrades feel like he's way too uptight. He doesn't show his emotions, whatever. Well, once he finds Annabelle, that all starts to like crack and crumble, and there's an attraction between them, and he doesn't really know what to do with it. And it was all going well. Like, it was going well because they have this plotline which forces Zacharyl and Annabelle to like be together a lot of the time. So forced proximity, which is great for relationship development, and it was going swimmingly. Like, there was some flirtatious moments. Zacharyl is kind of opening up, and he's willing to like explore these new feelings of attraction with Annabelle. At first he was like, I cannot be feeling this with a human, and then he was just kind of like, okay, it's inevitable now, and yeah, I think I'm gonna try my hand at this whole flirting thing. It was all going well until a moment. There comes a time Zacharyl makes a bargain saying that I'll stay with you out of the heavens for like 1 month if you promise that you'll kiss me when the need strikes you, when the feeling strikes you. Like, I'm not going to initiate it. You have to initiate it when you feel like you want to kiss me. And so I was like, ooh, this is going to be juicy. This is going to be great. So once she finally felt the need to kiss him, he's like a virgin. He hasn't experienced like anything sexual at all. They start kissing, and he takes it too far. It's very weird. Like, this almost animalistic haze comes over him from a kiss. Like, he's uncontrollable and like tearing at her shirt, which obviously triggers Annabelle, who has been through some crap. She's been strapped to a bed in a mental institute and been drugged and been unable to defend herself. So when she's telling Zacharyl to stop, and he's like in this, you're in his point of view, so you're in this like hazy feeling with him, and he's hearing her, but he's not heeding her. And it comes to a point where she draws a weapon and she like legit stabs him. At that point, I felt like me as the reader, even if Annabelle forgave him, it was just very hard to experience that, because I just don't agree that a kiss would make him so out of his mind that he didn't know what to do with himself. He is like an angel famous for his control, and I know that he's experiencing some emotions for the first time, but it just felt so unrealistic that he would have gone that far from a simple kiss. I just felt like it was unnecessary. I think that taking it slow with Annabelle is very necessary part of her healing, and for this relationship to develop a strong base that would make her feel comfortable. And I felt like throwing that out there as their first kiss together was the wrong move. I feel like there could have been some setbacks in their sexual relationship. It's normal for someone who was abused to experience triggers even if they feel safe in a relationship. So I felt like that would have been normal, but to start off their relationship that way, I just felt very icky about it. That's like, you're really starting this off on the wrong foot, and how could Annabelle ever forgive him? And the weird thing is, not a couple pages later, she says like, I should be so mad at you, but you're being such a sweetheart right now. Like, I can't, because he's being like cute. And I'm just like, 2 seconds ago you had to stab him because he wouldn't stop kissing you. Like, oh, it just didn't. Anyway, they have figured out in the book, obviously, they have an HEA, but from that point on, the kiss, I wasn't invested in their relationship anymore. I didn't like the way that it was developed. I disagreed with how Gina Showalter decided to initiate their relationship, and it kind of put a bad taste in my mouth every single time they interacted after that. So yeah, it's a no for me. 3 stars. It wasn't a bad book. Moving on to Ravensong. Now, Ravensong, I am reading on my Kindle because I do have a slightly busy day today. I am going to be recording a podcast episode with Juliet this afternoon on Love Bites, so I wanted to read it on my Kindle so that I could take it with me, because this book is chonky and heavy, and I'm not taking this with me. I'm 5% in Ravensong, and I was just discussing this with Malia from Romance Schmomance, and I don't know what it is about TJ Klune's writing, but I'm not a crier. I can count on both hands the amount of times that books have made me like cry, and I just find myself welling up, like tears in my eyes and nothing sad is happening. TJ Klune just has like a central line to my feelings and emotions, and he's just like tapping into it with like every little thing that he does. It's so amazing the way that he crafts these characters. You get to know them from a young age. Now, of course, we know Gordo and Mark from Wolfsong, and in later clips, once I get further in, because I am only 5% in, like 5% in, I'm already emotional. It's ridiculous. Like, TJ Klune, what are you doing? Like, you're amazing. I love him. But I probably will get into a little bit more spoilery details, at least for Wolfsong. This lighting is ridiculous. Cloudy day today. In, out, bright, dark. It's ridiculous. The beginning of this book starts off during some events that play out in Wolfsong, but then we go back to the beginning. We go back to when Gordo is a child, and his father is an important person in Wolfsong, and you definitely get to see the way that Gordo grew up, and just makes my heart hurt for him so much. Oh my God. I think the first scene that we see Gordo as a young child, he's 8 years old, so he's very young. I want to say so much. 5% in, and I have so much to say. So much to say, but it's ridiculous. I can make a whole vlog on just this book. I swear. It's so good. It's so good. But since there is so much to say, I think after finishing this series, I think I'll dedicate an entire video just to talk about these books, because I really do have a lot to say. It won't be a vlog because vlogs are a little hard for me to do. I'd rather just sit down and talk and take each book and discuss what makes this world so magical, because I'm already predicting that I'm going to love the third and the fourth book. I'm going to do that because this vlog is already going to be kind of long, at least long for me. I will definitely let you guys know what I think about Ravensong once I finish, because I'm totally finishing it by tonight. And probably not by the live show tonight, but tonight before midnight. So it probably won't be until late tonight that I'll be able to give you an update. But we'll see. We made it. This is the final reading update for this Paranormal Romance Readathon. I'm happy to say that I was able to finish Ravensong before it was over. And oh my God, these books are so long but so good. Now, I love Ravensong, but if I had to compare the two, Wolfsong and Ravensong, and like pick which one I like more, I'd probably rate them both the same. Maybe 4.5 stars for Ravensong. I liked Wolfsong just a little bit more, but it's barely a contest. I love this family so much, it's hard to put one on top of the other, but definitely Wolfsong before Ravensong. But guys, let me just tell you, Gordo and Mark are just so adorable, and their story is just so heartfelt, and my heart felt like it was breaking at some times, and then my heart just felt so full at other times. One of my favorite scenes was Mark and Gordo when they were younger, and Gordo learned mechanics from his grandfather. His grandfather was very handy with cars, and he was like just your typical like old man redneck cursing at cars while he fixed them. And so Gordo thought that that was how you diagnose cars, was yell at them and like curse at them, and they'll tell you their problems. His grandfather used some innuendos that slipped past Gordo's head because he was too young to understand them, and let me tell you, they were so hilarious. So there's this scene where Gordo is cursing at a car, and Mark is a little bit older than him. He's like 3 years older than him, and he's like, what are you doing? Why are you cursing at the car? And he was like, well, that's how you diagnose them. Why don't you try? And Mark's like, okay. And so they're both just like cursing at this car, and it's so funny and just so sweet and innocent. And there are some general things that's going on in like this supernatural world and that plot line, and that's developing. Some really interesting things happen during the end of this book, and I love how TJ Klune continues to develop Ox's character. So Ox is the main character of Wolfsong. We get the whole story through his point of view, and I love Ox. I obsessed over him when I did my reading vlog of Wolfsong, and I like waxed poetic about Ox during my review of Wolfsong. I just love them so much, and I'm so glad that we got to see him more in this book. And the family's still there. The Bennetts are still amazing, and I just loved the sense of family camaraderie between the two, and I'm so happy. I didn't want to read the blurbs for Heart Song or for Brother Song because I was hoping it was going to be about the brothers, and I wanted to see if their love interest would be teased, and one of the brothers' love interests was kind of teased in Wolfsong, definitely, and then we get the other love interests making an appearance in Raven Song, and I don't want to talk about it too much because I'm so excited to start Heart Song. I'm actually going to read the short story. I think it's called Love Song, and I think it's on TJ Klune's website. Malia told me to go read it, so I'm going to go read that first and then jump into Heart Song. But I really enjoyed this book so much, and I'm so glad that I was able to complete it with a PNR Readathon, which means the only book I did not read was Infernal, and that's okay. I got a lot of books done. I got one surprise book on here, so that's pretty good. Overall, really great reads. I'm trying to think which one would be my favorite. Definitely McCreeve or Raven Song, I would say, were my favorites. And One Grave at a Time was really good. I really enjoyed Janine Frost. I mean, she's just phenomenal. Cat and Bones are always going to be one of my favorite couples in paranormal romance. My least favorite was probably The Power of Hades. I just didn't care enough about the characters. There was very little romance, which is fine. It can be done that way. In fact, Love Bites, there wasn't a lot of romance between the main characters, and because it's a trilogy, so their love story is going to be dragged out, but I at least felt like I got to know these characters and I'm invested in their love story, whereas with The Power of Hades, I just didn't care about this version of Persephone and Hades. I also really didn't enjoy Sacrifice, and again, this is actually the fourth book that I've read by Katie Roberts, and I just decided that that's enough for me. I've tried her out and I can say that I'm done trying to not make myself love Katie Robert, but try to find what other people's find with Katie Robert. I just don't enjoy her books at the level that everyone else seems to be loving her. And the two books that just were like meh for me were Desire Unchained, which I keep forgetting the name of that book, but I still want to continue with the series. I just didn't like that couple. And Wicked Nights, I was a little bored for both of them, so those are kind of like my middle of the road reads. But I'm so happy to have participated in this readathon, and thank you so much to the host for giving me some prompts and honestly giving me like the best reading week that I've had in, a couple months. It's harder for me to read, but whenever someone else sets me a challenge, I will go after that challenge a lot harder than myself or my TBRs. It's like, oh yeah, I'll get to it maybe. But for a readathon, I'm like, not competitive, but competitive with myself and be like, you can do this. You can read this amount of books you used to all the time before your free time was taken up with other things. I love paranormal romance, and I can't wait to read a lot of the books that are on my TBR list for November, including Heart Song, including Brother Song. I want to read them like right away. I also plan on starting the Bridgertons really soon because that starts next week, and I'm really excited. Well, it'll be the coming Saturday because this video will go up on Monday because I should have started editing earlier, but I didn't, so. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this vlog. If you did like it, give it a big thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, make sure that you subscribe to get notified on any future videos that I do. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, life's better with a little HEA. Bye, guys.